guys, I am Wizarding World YouTuber Victoria Maclean and welcome to another episode of Victoria's Vintage. One day late, I know, but as you can see, I got a little bit busy yesterday. I had my hair done. I'm back to brown again! Yay! But I will talk about that more. So today we are going to be talking about something that started in the very beginning of our Harry Potter obsession. We are talking the first Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone book. But today I wanted to go back to basics because obviously I've got the very first one that was produced. You've seen that in a few videos. And this is the first character wand I think that I actually got excited about. I think when you go to the Harry Potter studios, you go to platform 9 3/4, you go on Harry Potter website, one of the first ones people buy is Harry's wand. And I mean, that's fair enough. Some of you, maybe you didn't, but mine wasn't just Harry's. We bought Dumbledore's as well, but we bought Harry's shortly after. But I cannot remember if this was Monica's or mine. I think she'll say it was mine. That's fine. I'm going to keep it anyway. But so this is the normal Harry Potter wand by Noble Collection. As you can see there, it is a resin wand. We do have a wooden version as well. Did you know, I will put the links down below, that at the moment, I think it's still going on, the Harry Potter UK shop are selling the wooden wands, okay? The wooden wands. The wooden ones, right? They were 60 quid. They're selling them for 32. Oh my life. I don't know how long they're going to be selling them for at £32. But seriously, £32 is almost half price. Okay, so if you want to get them, they're even cheaper than the exclusive ones as well. They're 33, I think. And they're selling the wooden ones for 32. Quick, go over. I don't mind you stopping and starting the video, but quick, go over and get your wands now. So I decided this was the wand I wanted today because we're going back to basics. So I'm going to put it back before I break it. I know, I'm an absolute pain in the arse, aren't I? Because I've gone from blonde to red to brown, and but I've been dark hair. I've had dark hair since I was 19. I was born with like quite ash blonde hair. So I'm naturally like a dark blonde, and I'm Greek. My past is like Greek heritage, so obviously I've got my dark eyes and I got my dark eyebrows, and I went dark, and so obviously I got bored of it, wanted to go blonde because I was dark for so long. Went blonde, that ruined my hair, obviously, because I like to keep my hair growing and keep it going long. My hairdresser actually wanted to cut off like that much today, and I said no. I was like, no. So she cut a little bit off, or at least I think she cut a little bit off. We curled it afterwards. I don't actually know how much she cut off, so I might be after you, Lucy. But I absolutely love this colour. It's a beautiful chocolate brown. She did have to strip it. The strip in it was so funny because I sent Adam a picture. This is the picture I sent Adam, and I said, I like this colour. I want to keep it like this. He was like, okay, it's different. And then I sent it to Janice and Nasty, and they were like, okay, it's different. And then I sent them a message saying, no, I'm only kidding. This is just the fact to strip it. So that was really funny. But I've been dark for so long. If you go back to my earlier videos, you'll see me with black hair. I had black hair for a long time, but I miss it. I miss the dark hair. And I sent a picture to Monica, and Monica was like, Mum, you look so much younger. I was like, oh, thanks. Stop it. She's going this colour as well soon, so we're going to be like sisters. People already think we're sisters. Okay, so I'm yapping on. I'm really good at yapping on, aren't I? Okay, so if you don't know, rightly know, you're right now. On the 26th of June, 1997, I was 17, just. Wow. Harry Potter and the Philosopher'S Stone was released by an unknown author called J.K. Rowling. Now, obviously back then, they printed the book. She was a published author, and only 500 books were printed, which is quite shocking, isn't it? So 500 books only being given to like 500 families, should we say. One of them was my kind of brother, Chris. His father brought one from Barnes and Noble in London. But he doesn't know whatever happened to that book. That was obviously a first edition, and he hasn't seen it since. So that's a really sad thing, that he had a first edition and now it's gone when it's worth like, what, £60,000. So this book, 200 went to shops and 300 went to libraries. Now that's quite a significant amount, isn't it? That only 200 books were sold in shops and 300 books went to libraries. That is quite a significant amount. And I wonder why that was such a big amount. But thanks to us, the book got picked up by David Heyman's publishing group, and he decided he wanted to turn it into a film. So this book that I'm showing you now, I'm picking up both of them here. This is not a first edition, but it's as close as I will ever get to a first edition, I feel. This is a 4th edition. I should be wearing white gloves actually, because I have a pair given to me by Maria's partner, and I can't remember what I've done with them. This is a 4th edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now this is, as I said, the closest I think I will ever get to a first edition. Now straight away the differences are obvious. This has a dust cover. The original book in 1997 had no dust cover, okay? And as you turn it round, the writing on the back was different. You still had this very young Dumbledore, but the writing on the back was different, and it had the word Philosopher's Stone in it. Now, the word Philosopher's was spelt wrong. I can't remember what the spelling is. I think there was an O missing, but it's spelt wrong on the back. There is a typo. Now again, they're the 2 indicators that it is an early edition. So no dust cover. The back, 3 indications. You've got an old gentleman, younger gentleman here, and the spelling of philosophers in this blurb here is spelt wrong. Everything else looks exactly the same. This came, I can't remember where I bought it from, but this was I think it was a charity shop find. It was down for £1, and at the time I don't think I realised what version it was, but I gave the charity shop a £5 because I said these are worth more than £1, you should take the £5 note. So I gave them the £5 note. I was somewhere with the Iron Throne, somewhere with Adam in England, and we had just happened to see some Harry Potter books in the window, and there was this one on a shelf. So I gave them the £5 instead of a £1 coin, because I felt a bit cheeky taking it for £1. And so, as much as I'm aware, I've never actually physically handled a first edition. Now, I've taken photographs of this in replace for first edition for advertising purposes, and the person, there was one person that actually messaged the advertising group saying that this was not a first edition. It's interesting to find out why. Maybe it's because they saw that this had a dust cover. That's quite obviously a big giveaway. Now this book, I've tried to look after it as best as I can. I am actually thinking about putting it somewhere else now, and I will tell you why soon. The colour of the pages hasn't actually gone too yellow, so that's a really, really, really good thing. So as we open it, there's obviously, as I said, a protective cover over the dust cover. There's no writing inside. Nobody's written in this, so that's brilliant. So again, this is a 4th edition. Inside, obviously, you've got Philosopher's Stone. Then you've got you've got to Jessica, who loves stories, for Anne, who loved them too, and for Di, who heard this one first. Jess is her daughter. I'm not sure who Anne is, but Di was her sister who read it before anybody. So here we have the edition page. Now this page in a book is normally the 3rd page in, 2nd or 3rd page in. This is going to tell you if it is a first edition. Now, this book was first published in Great Britain in 1997, which is correct. And then this one shouldn't be any different to 1997, because a lot of them were printed in the same time. They were just printed after each other. So this one is, if you go down right down to the bottom here, there's a series of numbers. Now in the UK, we can tell ours is a first edition by seeing the number 10 to 1 down the bottom, or it will say in the later Harry Potter books, it says first edition. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, my lovelies, but if it actually says the word first edition, chances are it is a newer version, or should I say the later stories in Harry Potter, and they are not worth much at all, I'm afraid, because there were millions printed. The reason why this one is so valuable, or the first edition of this is so valuable, is because there were only 500 printed, and there were probably a few that went into bins because they probably saw better days. They wouldn't have been printed brilliantly, they wouldn't have been printed expensively. The pages would have turned yellow, as you can see. The binding would have come undone, the spine possibly would have broken, especially if this is a kid's book. They do get pulled apart a lot. So unfortunately, the newer the books, as in from Goblet of Fire onwards, then you're looking at probably the amount of money that you paid for the book in the beginning from the bookshop. That's all it's worth, I'm afraid. But these ones, the Philosopher'S Stone, Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, they are your three main ones that you need to check. Now, Ted Baker is one of them, and that, I'm afraid, the Ted Baker ones are not Bloomsbury, so they're not worth much at all. I have a first edition Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm just looking to see if I've got it there. Yes, it's Ted Baker. Ted Smart, not Ted Baker. Ted Smart. I've got it there. They are not worth much at all, I'm afraid. You're looking for the Bloomsbury editions. Anyway, so we will get back on with this. Right, so in this is mistakes. The mistakes are what you want to look for. So here we've got copyright text Joanna Rowling 1997, and then you drop down a line and it says copyright cover illustration Thomas Taylor 1997. For the older books, the word Taylor and numbers 1997 have no space in between. There is no space whatsoever, and it's Joanne Rowling instead of J.K. Rowling. So they are some of the main mistakes you want to look out for. If yours is a 10 to 1, 10 to 2, 10 to 3, 10 to 4, mine is a 10 to 4. So the numbers only go down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That means that it is a 4th edition book. So the other mistakes, which aren't in this book, but I will show you. So if you have an early edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, 1 to 3 editions, then you may have the mistake, which is printed on page 53. Up here, you've got other equipment, 1 wand, 1 cauldron, pewter standard size 2, 1 set glass or crystal vials, 1 telescope, 1 set brass scales. Now, with the older books, the ones that are worth more and early editions, the 1, 2 and 3, you could have the word 1 printed at the top and then again at the bottom. So if you have got a copy of Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone with no dust cover, with a young Dumbledore on the back, with the word philosopher on the back here spelled incorrectly with a missing O, I think, then you open the page and you have Joanna Rowling 1997 and Thomas Taylor, and then Taylor and 1997 with no gap, and then the numbers 10 to 1 backwards all the way down to 1, and you have, well, even if you've got that is brilliant. And you probably, if you go down from 10 to 1, the chances are inside your book is the word wand printed twice. There are other mistakes in the book, I just can't think of them right now, I can't remember them, but those are the main things you need to look out for. Now, there are so many videos on these books on social media, I'm well aware of that, but it's something that I like to also tell people. As you can see here as well, this is sun damage. You can see the colour of the spine is different to the front of the book. Okay, so please, please, please keep your books away from direct sunlight. This room here has the blinds permanently closed. They are only open, I'm not going to lie, maybe once a year when I'm redoing this room. That is it. And I open the blinds, open the windows, and that is all the natural light that comes in. Everything else is lights, just normal lights, or all the lights are turned off, and I only turn the lights on if I'm in here doing some work or I'm filming. These books need to be looked after. Technically, because this is now 25 years old, 25 years old this month, this book should be handled with gloves. It should be handled with gloves, and I do have gloves, can't remember what I've done with them. It should be kept in a airtight container or bag with those, remember I told you about those packets that we've got the beads in, and they keep like moisture away from things. When you get them in the post, you get to get it when you get new bags. They've got these little moisture packets in them. That should be in there with some of them. This book on its own, this is not a first edition, it's not a second edition, it's not a third edition. It is a 4th edition, so it's 4 editions, okay? 3 editions away from the first one. This is still worth between £3,000 and £4,000, this book. How crazy is that, that even a 4th edition has a hell of a value? And this is in fantastic condition, apart from the little tear at the bottom there, which is very sad. and obviously the staining on the spine. Other than that, this book is in immaculate condition. There's no marks in it. This spine is still completely solid. The book has hardly been read. It has hardly been read, and the pages, yes, they're yellow because of the style of the paper quality was fairly poor, but it is still in brilliant condition for its age, and the fact that it's probably been read so much. I'd love to have known who'd had this before me. I really, really would. I'd love to. But honestly, even a book that is a 4th edition has got some value to it. But as I said, the books Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, it gets a little bit more complicated with Prisoner of Azkaban. Anything after Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows. If they are first editions, I'm afraid they're not worth much at all. In fact, they might not be worth anything because they were printed in such large quantities that the value of them just went down. It was like diluting money. That's what it was. This was concentrated. There was only 500 of them, and I don't know how many survive today. But then you've got obviously Goblet of Fire onwards. There's millions. I think the first print run for Goblet of Fire was 10 million, I think. It was ridiculous, you know. I mean, obviously because it had such a huge fan base, they had to. So what I love is I've got this book. There are people out there that have first editions, and I'm really proud that I have a 4th edition. This is the closest I'm ever going to get to it on my budget. So again, I got it for £5 from a charity shop. Charity shops, honestly, keep an eye out on them because you never know what gold you'll find. But I didn't know the value of this. So one of my old friends told me how much this was actually worth. And back then it was 1 to 2,000 or up to 2,000. That was almost 4 years ago. So this has doubled in value since then. Good thing about Harry Potter, it doubles in value. Now, in celebration of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone turning 25 this year and this month, the 26th of June, day before my mum's birthday, wow, was the release. They have released a 25th anniversary edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by Bloomsbury, with a proud sticker down there saying 25 years anniversary edition, exclusive content inside. Now, the first thing you'll notice with these two books is the anniversary edition is much thicker than the original edition, and the back of the wizards are different. So this is the newer version. This is what they changed Dumbledore to look like later on. And then obviously this was the original Dumbledore back when it was first released. The beautiful thing about this edition though is that you still have the beautiful artwork, because this artwork has changed so much, but this is the iconic artwork from the original book. I mean, no wonder kids loved these books. The colour of these books when they were sat on the bookshelves in, like, you know, Waterstones, or back when I was younger, Otakers, you know, that was the colour on the spine. I mean, how beautiful. I mean, you can see them just there. How colourful do they look on the shelf? They look amazing. But what I love about this, I'm going to take the dust cover off it because it's easier for me to show you. Oh, there's nothing better than seeing a raw Harry Potter book without its dust cover. Anybody else feel like that when they take the dust cover off, when they look at it like that and it's like, yeah, that's how it's meant to be, you know, without a dust cover. But this obviously has just been sent to me. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think by looking at recent books that I have had sent to me from companies, the look of the edition stamp, kind of, you know, first edition, second edition, the way it is portrayed in the books has changed. So I'm going to go through that with you now. But look at the difference in this. So we've looked at the very first book that J.K. Rowling produced, okay, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, back in 1997. These are the books since. Look at all of those, and that's probably not all of them. Look at that. How crazy is that, right? That she has done in 25 years. She's gone from that one book to all of these books. I mean, let's face it, we have a lot of things to thank J.K. Rowling for. But obviously listed in here, you've got, in reading order, the Harry Potter books. Then you have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone Chamber of Secrets available in Latin. Then you have them in Welsh, proud Welsh. I actually have a first edition Welsh one over there. I'm very proud. And then obviously you've got the illustrated editions illustrated by Jim Kay, who is incredibly talented. So, and then Chris Riddle, who also details the Beadle the Bard and Quidditch Through the Ages. So there are so many books that these have been transformed into. This book has been transformed into something like 50 something languages, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy how many languages it's been transformed into, which is lovely. It means that nobody will miss out. Now, after opening this, oh God, love the smell of new books. Do you know what? One of my favourite places is a library because I love the smell of books. Okay, so in this one, I don't know if I'm right, so if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I recognised it when I had the illustrated book by Mina Lima for Chamber of Secrets. Down here, we have the numbers 10 to 1, but they're backwards. So instead of going 10 to 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it goes into 10. So I find that very odd, but as long as they are in full sequence, 1 to 10, or 10 to 1, and there is no numbers missing, I'm pretty sure this means it is a first edition. But then obviously here you have, this is how it should have been from the original. Copyright at J.K. Rowling 1997, and then cover illustration by Thomas Taylor, copyright Thomas Taylor 1997, without any gaps. So that's how it should have looked in the very first Philosopher's Stone book, but obviously they made those typing errors and no gaps. So the first thing I see is Peeves at the top here pulling a face by the little note that we read from the very first one. How cool is Peeves? Look, I so wish that he had been in the first film, because Peeves was such a beloved character from the book, especially the way McGonagall managed to kind of control him, you know, by threatening to send the bloody Baron to get him and stuff. I mean, it was just so brilliant, you know. Then we have what a beautiful illustration. This is an early drawing of Hagrid with Harry Potter, Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall in Privet Drive by J.K. Rowling. That just warms my heart seeing that there. That warms my heart. It's such a beautiful picture, and it's how you would expect them to kind of just fall in love with Harry, saying goodbye to him because he wasn't going to be a part of their world, when for the first year he probably was a part of their world quite a lot. And then you have the book that changed my life written there, J.K. Rowling. Honestly, that speaks volumes to us all. Then you have how Hagrid would get into Diagon Alley when he tapped the bricks with his umbrella. So there's beautiful illustrations in here. I'm not going to show you all of them because I think it would really spoil it if I did. I think it's nice enough to keep it. These are only £8.50 from Amazon. They're so cheap, and the link will be down below, so you will not miss out. And if it's not available on your Amazon, apparently it is in so many bookshops. It's in the works in the UK. It's everywhere. You can even buy it direct from Bloomsbury if you wish. So what I love about this, so you've got chapter 1 here, and I love how they've got the series of stars. I love that. The Boy Who Lived, and it's just so beautiful how they've got these gorgeous stars all over the pages of the books. It's when I look at these stars, yes, it represents my 3 babies, but it represents the Harry Potter stars as well. And I'll show a few more little kind of tidbits. Do you know what I would have loved, right? I would have loved them to release the book with all the mistakes. Obviously in millions of copies, but I would have loved them to release the book with all the mistakes, just for like nostalgia, you know. I mean, they do it with films, why can't they do it with books? So celebrating 25 years of magic, 1997 to 2022. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I love that because it's, for us, I mean, I've been with Harry Potter. I remember hearing about Harry Potter when I was 17, but I wasn't fussed. The idea of it wasn't fussed at all. And then obviously I'd heard about it. It was like a tick, like a worm in your ear. What's the word they say? It's like an earworm, you know. It constantly tick away at you. And you can't help but listen in the end. And it was a case of, do you know what? I'm just going to get it. And I got it in 2001. I think it was September 2001, and it was the Smarties edition, was my first book, so it's quite cool. And then we've got here, it was in 1990 during a delayed train from Manchester to London that J.K. Rowling first had the idea of Harry Potter, the black-haired, bespectacled boy who didn't yet know he was a great wizard. An unassuming hero met an enthusiastic response from the book's first reader, and would go on to carve a wizard-shaped place in literary history. Do you know what, right? I'm going to bitch now, yeah? Watching the Jubilee, okay, Queen's Jubilee, because I'm a royalist. I love the royal family. Being in the UK, we are, a lot of us are. And I loved watching the Jubilee. When they did the parade, they did everything that was great about the UK, and obviously other countries that are in the Commonwealth as well. Not one thing was shown about Harry Potter. And yet, how much has Harry Potter brought to the UK? I was fuming. I was like, what? And then when we saw something, we thought it was a wand, right? So me and Monica got really excited, and it wasn't. I can't even remember what it was, but blooming well wasn't. Then they had like a phoenix bird, and it was something to do with the mystical animals, but nothing to do with Harry Potter. And I was just like, why am I watching this? I don't even bother. Why am I watching this? Why? I don't care. I was so disappointed. They celebrated everything about UK, but nothing about Harry Potter. And it was a British thing. It originated from Scotland. It originated from the UK, for goodness sake, you know? We should celebrate it, not kind of diss it on telly. I was not happy, I tell you that now. That's what I love about this. It's kind of celebrating the history of Harry Potter. So I won't go through all of these. There is a lot, but I will read this bit though. Date of publication, 26th of June 1997. First print run, 500 hardback copies. Number of words, 77,869. Time to write, 5 years. 1990 to 1995. And obviously in that time she was working on the other books as well, so she wasn't just stopping on this one. And then we have other things inside here. We've got illustrations of Hogwarts. Honestly, this is a lovely book to get. You should get it. A brush with magic drawing Harry Potter here. And that is, I think, about the guy, Thomas Taylor, who actually did the illustration for the front cover. Do you know what? I think the front cover was one of the reasons why so many people loved it as well. Not just the fantastic story, obviously. Then we have the bit about the wizard as well there, which I did talk to you about. Then we have a little bit about Thomas Taylor again down here. It's not Dumbledore, it's not Quirrell, it's not Snape. Was there some secret here? Was this a clue to something that would happen in later books? And what is that in the mysterious wizard's coat pocket? Actual conspiracy theories began to grow, and the trickle of letters and emails to Bloomsbury became a torrent, until I eventually asked to replace my father with a painting of Albus Dumbledore. Oh my goodness, that's meant to be Thomas Taylor's father. That's so cool. Do you know, it looks like a kind of like illustration of Nicholas Flamel actually. And then we have the Hogwarts Express on that side, and that's the end of the book. I love it. This is so, for £8.50, that's so worth buying. And it's a piece of literary history as well. I'm sure they're going to be doing more kind of going forward. I'd love it if they did like a 50th anniversary of all 7 books, but I can imagine that would probably cost a fortune, because they don't do things by halves, do they? I mean, that's lovely. I mean, the original book was only £7 something, £7.99 I think it was. And so obviously the new book's only £8.50. It's brilliant. So what have you thought of me going through these books? Have you got a first edition? I don't mean like Goblet of Fire onwards. I mean Philosopher'S Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. I'd love to hear from you. Don't tell me where you live, because I'll end up breaking into your house. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't do that. I love my collection too much. Yeah, I'd miss it being in jail. But I love it. I really do. And it's lovely that we have these little celebratory editions that are released. I mean, I didn't know they were doing one of these. I've got to be honest. It was because of Adam told me that they had them in our local bookshop, but I didn't get a chance to go into town, so I did buy it on Amazon. I know it's naughty, isn't it? But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this video? Until next time, take care. I love you all, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Want to check out more of my content? Take a look at this video right here, or this video right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.